Greetings, Management 1010, interdisciplinary, make sure you can hear me, interdisciplinary leadership students. Welcome as we close out week number 2 of the spring 2013 semester. Time flies when you're having fun, right? I was looking at our schedule. I believe you too have a copy of our handy-dandy class schedule, and I was looking at what you've accomplished so far this week, or this week and a half, really. So far, you've knocked out the pause orientation quiz. In fact, let me tell you that 12 students knocked out the pause orientation quiz, and also 12 students earned a bonus point by completing the attendance quiz, which simply asked you to log in and say, yes, I'm here. Now, if you didn't do the first one, then another attendance quiz is coming up, and just make sure that you let me know that you're still here. It's kind of the way that I take roll in our online class. And I believe this week that the college will be running the purge on either the night of the 29th or the 30th. So, make sure that you get any kind of outstanding payment issues resolved. If you do find that you're knocked out of the class, you need to re-enroll very quickly. Talk to admissions and records, talk to financial aid, make sure, everything gets taken care of if you have a problem, okay? Be on the lookout. The 29th or the 30th, it's typically overnight, so, the next morning, be looking for that, okay? So, registration officially ended Friday. As you know, the college extended registration through Friday the 25th, and so now we have 16 students in our class. You can see that if you go to the class list in pause. Also, that will help you if you need to email your classmates, ask a question, maybe organize study sessions, or if you want to organize at the library and watch one of the movies together, that would be great, and you could discuss things and have all that information. So you can see that. Okay, now, speaking of knowing your classmates and getting that information, only 4 of you have posted your introductions into the discussion board in pause. Very disappointing. You are leaders, people. You are leaders. I want you to lead yourself and get out there into the discussion board and read about your classmates, post something about yourself so that you can get to know each other. You may not think that's important, but you may have something that comes up throughout the semester, and if you start building some relationships now, then it'll be easy to reach out to one of your classmates and say, hey, how's it going? Did you understand blah, blah, right? Got to be proactive in this environment and make those connections. Okay, now, looking ahead, we're actually, this is the 27th today, and I'm looking at the week number 2, which for January, roughly the 24th-ish, and you know that you have your Chapter 1 quiz, lots of deep thinking, deep reading in the text, isn't it? But so enriching, I believe. Well, so far, 8 students have taken the Chapter 1 quiz. Now, I also have, in addition to my schedule, my handy-dandy syllabus, because as you take the Chapter 1 quiz, not just enough to take it, I'm looking on my syllabus, it says I need to go to page 10. How nice to have that table of contents right there. Who did that for you? I think it was me. Okay, so here we go to pause quizzes. It says you have unlimited attempts on those quizzes, but you've got to score 70% or better. Now, that is probably the easiest minimum score that you're ever going to see, 70%. That means that you cannot quit on yourself if you make less than a C. Every student in this class, this may be your first online class, whatever your situation is, shoot for an A. If you can't make an A, I know you can make a B. If you can't make a B, then maybe you fall into that C category. But if you go lower than that, you need to take that quiz again, right? Go through the material. Take some time with your book. Now, some students are very reluctant to hit the submit button on that quiz. If you have to take the quiz again to earn a higher score, that's okay. Remember, you've got, 2 hours, or what? There's a counter on that quiz. You might have to take it again. That's okay, right? Do it as many times as you have to. Earn an A. I want everybody in here to get 100%, and I think you can. You've got unlimited attempts up until the due date. Once the due date, when is the due date? For Chapter 1, it looks like it's Wednesday, January 30th. So you want to make sure you get that top score by then. remember that once you make that top score, you can still repeat the quiz as a study tool, right? Because it's a pool of questions. As you take the pool of questions over and over and over again, you are preparing yourself for the exam, which is going to be coming spring break time, as you can see on your schedule, right? Now, even more important than that, now, equally as important as that is your writing assignment, which is for the movie 12 O'Clock High. Now, I have my instructions here, and the mistakes that students commonly make on the writing assignments is they just don't take the time to read. I believe that what happens is that you get really worked up and you get kind of scared, and so you keep looking at the words, but they're not going in. So I want you to take a deep breath, and I want you to make sure that you read the instructions. Now I'm not going to read the instructions to you, but I'm going to point out a couple things. First of all, today's already Sunday. The assignment is due Wednesday. I hope that you have already watched the movie. If not, then you might have to drive or get a ride or take the bus or walk or ride your bike or run or whatever, okay, to the library. My point is you might have to go to campus. Or, maybe you have other ways that you personally can watch that movie. Some people subscribe to movie services. You might have a public library near your house that has the movie. But the movie is available through the Southwest Library. Now, the due date is getting close, so if you're thinking, well, I'm just going to breeze in there. First of all, if you're thinking you're going to breeze in at 10 o'clock at night to watch the movie, maybe the library is not open at 10 o'clock at night. Not open at 10 o'clock at night. So you have to take that into account. What if another student thinks that they're going to go in at 1 o'clock in the afternoon, but you are also thinking you're going to go at 1 o'clock in the afternoon and watch that movie? Well, then somebody else is already going to have it. So you need to make time, do it quickly, but you might have to go to the library and watch that movie. Speaking of sharing the movie experience, again, this might be a situation where if you email your classmates that you can try to, find a time where you can watch that movie, okay? Or maybe somebody else out there has an idea and knows that you can get a hold of the movie at maybe Redbox or something. I don't know. Okay, you students surprise me. You come up with things all the time, and you've had a lot of notice. You've had a lot of time to get to that movie, so I do expect you to do that. As you know, no late assignments, right? Very key. Speaking of that, in your instructions, you are asked to submit the writing assignment into the Dropbox. Now, this might be a new experience for you. I do understand that, which is why I have emailed you a link to a series of pause videos. Also, in your instructions, I've given you a link to a video very specifically on how to submit something into the Dropbox. When you successfully submit an assignment, you get a receipt. That's a really nice thing. As part of the video, I will explain how you can view that receipt. So it might be a good thing to take a listen to. Okay? All right, now, so lots of ways to watch that movie. Make sure that you have time to do that. I think you're going to enjoy the movie. When you look at Commander Savage, his character is aptly named, right? So, I'm going to ask you some questions about his particular leadership style. I'm going to ask you some questions about Commander Davenport. Now, when you think of what the word savage means, if somebody is a savage, right, or if they have a very savage nature, right, then you understand what that may mean. But are you familiar with the term Davenport? You might want to Google that or Bing it or whatever browser you use. Search for Davenport, look up the definition, and see if that personality aligns. What you're seeing is a series of leadership styles. I hope that one thing that you see in the movie is that each leadership style has strengths and weaknesses. I like to consider it. I was emphasizing our online nature. Let me go to something really quickly here. Each leadership style can have different characteristics, and we don't all have all the characteristics all the time in a perfect manner. But depending on what hat you're wearing, there it comes. You may say, well, that person is a real witchy poo, right? Got the hat on. But we sure accomplished a lot under that particular leadership style. Well, maybe somebody else You said, well, they're a real cowboy. They just tackled new terrain and they were really good with doing that. But does that leadership style work all the time? If you consider yourself to be a very elegant princess style leader, that may be a great leadership style. Does it work all the time? Different personality or different leadership styles have different strengths and weaknesses, and hopefully you're reading about that. And then what the movie does is the movie gives you an opportunity to connect your reading to your writing assignment, to the writing assignment. Now, that leads me to another point that I want to make about your writing. I do read your assignments and I do grade them. Give me about a week, or typically it takes me a good weekend to go through and grade your assignments. Your quizzes, you get the grades automatically. The writing assignment is going to take me a little bit of time to grade, but I do grade them and I do give you detailed feedback. Read the feedback. When you click on the grades link in pause, you'll see the comments that I've given to you as well as the grading rubric that I use. If you read the feedback I give to you and incorporate that as you answer other assignments, you will do well. If you ignore the feedback that I give you, then I need to deduct a few more points to get your attention. So it tends to kind of snowball on you because you'll make the same mistake, and so I'm going to keep on docking and docking and docking points until you start to improve. You know, the study of leadership in particular is really a constant cycle of improvement, and so I hope you embrace that as you go into this. You're learning about yourself, but hopefully also you're learning ways to really to elevate and to embrace yourself, to lead yourself, to discipline yourself, and to this attitude of servant leadership that is important to our studies, to build the teams and the groups that you're in. Okay. So you've got writing assignment number 1, which is on the movie 12 O'Clock High, and that's due this week, due Wednesday. You've got your pause chapter 1 quiz. Make sure you get at least the minimum score. This is not a pass-fail thing. If you get an 80%, then I'm going to give you 80% of the points. If you get 100%, then you get 100%. So earn the highest score that you can. Looking ahead, see if I can do that, to the week number 3, which really we're starting into, page 2 already. You're going to be looking at the movie Hotel Rwanda. It can be a tough movie, but folks, it's a real, true story. And as you read, as you read, yes, and as you look at those leadership characteristics and you watch that movie, you're going to watch these things in a way that you've never. It's not just, oh, that's tough and that's difficult. You're going to say, wow, I see him exercising these characteristics, and could I have done it? And his leadership style, how did it develop and how did it grow? And I think it's going to be exciting for you. Okay, so I love this class, and so I hope that you have this passion as you do the reading and then combine it. I mean, the movies are demonstrating the characteristics that you're reading about in your textbook. So of course you'll have the pause unit quiz 2. You'll be watching the movie. My strategy is to read the questions first, then watch and hopefully try to answer some of the questions as you go through the movie, and then of course that will be due the following week. So make sure that you are looking at that. But basically, other than that, this is just a word of encouragement to say, get in there and get going. Let's see, do I have some other notes? Good job to the one student, I won't out you on this, but who has already started Chapter 2 quiz. I do see that, and I think it's great that you work ahead. I let you do that right up until the first exam. So look at your schedule, work ahead as necessary, and good job. You know who you are, and I hope there's more of you soon. Also, congratulations to the 12 students who earned a bonus point by completing the attendance quiz. Now, that is how I know that you're there. If you missed the first one, do the second one, right? You've got another one coming up, so important that you do that. If you haven't posted your introduction again, poke. Okay, do that. I think that's a good idea. Let your classmates know who you are. And we are 16 strong, and I think this is a great course. I think that you're going to enjoy it. And so we'll be talking throughout the semester. Get in there, get moving, get going, and enjoy the reading, because it's really engrossing, in my opinion. You're going to learn a lot as you do this and do the assignments. Be talking to you soon.